morning, guys. If you're new to my channel, thank you, welcome. Please consider hitting that red subscribe button. And if you're not new, thank you for the continued support. Today, I'm back with another collab video with my friend Anna from CP Life here on YouTube, and I'll pop a picture up of her right here. Magical editing, popped a picture. Today we are back with a collab video that is Never Have I Ever Disability Edition. So I'm going to talk about 5 scenarios today, and then she will be talking about 5 scenarios on her channel. So when you're done with this video, go watch her channel. I will link it in the pinned comment and in the description box, as well as her video. Thank you again, Anna, for doing this collab video with me, and let's get into it. So I have my notes here, so sorry if I'm looking down. The first scenario is, never have I ever been able to not wear clothing or shoes due to accessibility. And the truth is that I have not been able to wear clothing or shoes due to accessibility. I talk about this all the time, that if I find something that I like and that fits well and is comfortable to me, I buy it in like 6 different colors, so I have it, and that I only wear certain shoes because they fit comfortably. I'm currently wearing Crocs. I have like 5 pairs of them because they're comfortable and they fit well and stuff like that. I had an experience recently where my sister-in-law bought me Vans for Christmas and they wouldn't fit, so we had to return them. So yeah, I run into accessibility issues with clothing all the time. So I definitely have had that happen to me. The next one is, never have I ever been treated invisible due to my disability. And I would say I have to this one as well, because when I was younger, not so much now, because like I feel like I can speak up for myself and I have a voice, but when I was younger, like people would kind of talk to my parents or talk to my mom, and I would be like right there, and then they would like just talk to her as if I wasn't there, and then she would have to be like, well, no, Emily can answer that question, or, Emily, why don't you tell them how you're feeling, but as I've gotten older, that has been happening less and less. I think also because sometimes when you're in the chair, you're not like eye level with people, so that could also be interesting, because I know that, like, at least in America, eye contact is like a huge part of our culture. Like, you're supposed to look at somebody when they're talking to you, and you're supposed to like, make eye contact, because that's like a culture thing for whatever reason. So I think that could be it too, you know what I mean? And then also, like, people find it awkward to like lean down and speak to me on an eye level. I don't know. So maybe that's just some of the reasons why I think that occurs. But I haven't had that happen in a really long time, but watch, I'll jinx myself and it'll happen again. Never has my disability affected me in public. I really need to take better notes. But it has. I have a really severe startle reflex, and again, I've talked about that in some of my videos. And basically what happens with that is, like, if somebody were to make a loud noise, or if somebody were to drop something, whether intentionally or, on accident, my legs kick out like there's no tomorrow, and I'll jump. So like sometimes when we were in a restaurant pre-pandemic, like, somebody would drop silverware or break a plate or something, and I would jump and I would like freak out. Basically, like my whole body would just like shake and freak out. And my family is always like, "Oh, Emily jumped like mile high or whatever," So yeah, it's bad. And then just other for the fact that like sometimes things are not accessible, so like I can't do them, like go into other people's houses, or some stores are not accessible, or like some businesses, or just places that people need to go are not accessible. So yeah, that sometimes can be an issue. So that's also true. Never have I ever not been able to make friends. That I would say I haven't. So that's one of the things that hasn't affected me, because of my disability. Although I do say that I am a little bit socially awkward. And I do have social anxiety, so that's a thing. But for the most part, people have been really kind and courteous to me. And again, as I've gotten older, like, people just realize that, hey, it's just me, like, that's just who I am, and I use a chair to get around, and, nothing really changes. Like, I have a friend who I get my nails done with, and I have coffee with, and, this was obviously all before COVID, obviously, but, like, she would come over, and we would have coffee, and we'd watch, like, Netflix or something, and, and she's an able-bodied person, and, like, when I went to school, I would have friends who were able-bodied, and they would be very courteous. They would open doors, they would hold things for me, they would pick things up when I dropped them, still that happens to this day, you know what I mean? Sometimes they even went as far as, like, helping me put on my jacket, or helping me take off my jacket, or, like, reaching something for me that I can't reach. Like, people have been, really, really courteous. And that's not to say that, like, people aren't courteous, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes, hold quiet. Sorry, my dog is... So that's not to say that, like, there isn't ever a time that, like, people aren't courteous to me. I've definitely had instances where, like, I'll be walking in somewhere, or rolling in, or whatever you call it, and, like, somebody will clearly see me, but yet they won't hold the door open or something like that. So, like, that's definitely happened. But, like, me and my circle of people and the people that I choose to associate with, they've always been kind and courteous and whatever. That's something that I definitely look forward to in a person that I choose to associate with, is that, like, hey, because I need help, like, not that I'm expecting you to be a caregiver, but, like, will you help me do this if I need it? Like, obviously I'll be gracious, and I'll thank you, and I'll whatever, like, anything like that. But, will you help me is what I'm thinking, So the fifth and final scenario is, never have I ever been in a situation where I didn't know what to do because of my disability. And this one, I immediately knew an answer, and this one is because I have been in a situation, and again, it roots back to accessibility. A lot of my life and a lot of the issues have to do with accessibility, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. When I was in high school, we had fire drills, and it always seemed to happen when I was always upstairs, because, like, my schools obviously have 2 levels, and the disabled and people who are injured on crutches use elevators, but in a real fire situation you can't use an elevator, obviously. And so I would go to this area called the area of refuge. And basically it's an area that the firefighters or the first responders know where to go when, you know, there's a fire and they know, hey, there's X amount of people here. Apparently my name was always on a list that said, okay, this is where Emily's gonna be. She's with, you know, a para or an aide or something, and that's where she's gonna be. Now, if you know me and you've watched my videos for long enough, you know that I have like crippling anxiety. Like, it's literally probably more debilitating than CP at some points. So for me to be in one of those situations in like a burning building, obviously, like, God forbid that would never happen, you know, but things happen, you know, fires happen, whatever. But, you know, and obviously, hopefully I wouldn't be there that long. They'd obviously be running there. But just the idea of me having to be somewhere inside while everyone... Sorry, my dogs are excited at the neighbors. But just the idea of me having to be somewhere that is an unsafe situation while the other people get to go outside just because of accessibility, that is a situation that I definitely did not know what to do. I mean, I followed instructions, but like, obviously your gut is to just get out of that situation, but that is definitely one. And then that also happened to me when I used to attend college. We had a situation where there was a either a false alarm fire or there was a little fire or something. And again, I had to go to the area of refuge, but this time nobody knew who I was. And I went to the area of refuge because I was told, like, you know, obviously I remember from high school, like, I was told to go there. So I went there and they're like, oh, you can't walk? And I'm like, no. Now in college, you have no para support. At this time, I didn't have a PCA. I was still on the waiting list. So I had nobody there with me. I was completely independent because obviously I use a chair. So that's what I was doing. And they're like, oh, you can't walk? And I'm like, no. And so luckily everything like resolved itself, and then like 20 minutes later I could still use the elevator again to go home. But I think soon after that I honestly withdrawed and took online classes because I was uncomfortable with the amount of inaccessibility there was. So yeah, there's definitely times that I felt that I didn't know what to do, or I was stuck in situations that I had no control over due to my disability. So yes, that is a definitely I have sticker situation. With that being said, you guys, those are all the 5 scenarios that I have when it comes to the Never Have I Ever with the Disability Edition. If you're interested in hearing more, go to Anna's channel. She did 5 more scenarios and they're really, really good. So you'll want to go make sure you check them out. Again, I will link her channel in the description box and the pinned comment down below. Again, this is a collaboration with Anna from the CP Life. Go subscribe to her and tell her we sent you. I'll pop up her picture right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!